Okie dokie. Welcome back to Attack on Titan anime review, episode number 33. I almost said Nick Lentz's Comic Corner. Sorry about that. Basically, I'm just so used to saying that. This is basically a review of the 65th episode of the series, The Warhammer Titan. Yes, that's the name of the episode. This episode adapts from pretty much the material that was kept over from chapter 100. Like the opening, I think it was about the first 9 pages. Yeah, the stuff that skipped over last week, they put at the beginning of this episode, which takes the first about 5 minutes. And then they go through the entirety of chapter 101. And for 102, they adapt all but the last 9 pages of the chapter. So, I'd say about 31 pages. They adapt most of chapter 102. The episode starts off with Tybur talking to one of the generals, one of the Marley generals, in a carriage. Yeah, this was a scene that actually got from last week for some reason, but I kind of suspect they would do this. They did this before, when they basically skipped over one small scene that was roughly 2 pages, a couple episodes back with with Peck, and they basically put her scene back in the next episode. This episode, they kind of did the same thing too, where the material they skipped over from last week, with this whole scene of Tybur and the Marley general in this carriage, discussing stuff basically that, they kind of suspect there's going to be attacked by one of the Paris Island Titans. Of course, they don't particularly say it's Eren per se, but they probably mentioned it probably prior to this off screen, that they think it's probably going to be Eren attacking the place. And they also basically plan to have all the most top wrestlers crammed together in one place, which normally that is a no-no, because even in real life, basically not even the U.S. military does that, because if they do that, that means one attack can wipe out most of the leadership. Yeah, real life countries do not do this at all. They've done this once with the actual U.S. Navy fleet, where they basically at one point had a lot of it in one location, aka Pearl Harbor, but thanks to our talk, we can't do that anymore. So, yeah, that's Tybur's play. He basically plans to wipe a lot of the weak and incompetent generals, and have this one general basically be the one take over charge of the whole entire military. Okay, and after that for a while, they also have this brief conversation where you have Tybur talking to his children. Their big sisters basically look after him. And we see that this woman who's possibly made, it's later revealed this woman's actually Tybur's sister. And they reveal in this episode, the episode starts off with his corpse flying into Eren's mouth when he's in Attack Titan mode. And then we see that Tybur's sister is in fact the Warhammer Titan. I knew about this basically because I read the manga. I did not want to spoil this, just in case people who did not read the manga. Yeah, so of course Eren starts attacking the brass, and then she transforms into the Warhammer Titan, which the way I love the sequence they do in the anime, which is same as in the manga, but they made it a little more streamlined. And also just point out, there's a tiny little snippets of CGI in this episode. I'm not really sure why they decided to do some CGI in this episode, where by a distance for some characters they're basically done CGI for some strange reason, but looking up when you get up close to them, they're basically done the normal animation the series is known for. I get the fact some of the Titans basically the series is known for, but actual human characters, that's quite interesting. And with basically the battle between the Attack Titan and the Warhammer Titan, most of the military flees away, some of the civilians get killed. And we see Gabby and I'm trying to remember what was his name. He's Falco's brother. Falco's missing, but don't worry, he's not dead. He's not dead, but Tybur's definitely dead. He got eaten by Eren. So everyone's running away, and of course Peck and the guy who's the host of the Jaw Titan, I don't remember the guy's name. It's not. I remember the guy. The Peck is host the Car Titan, and basically she suspected right away that something is with the beard guy. So basically, she goes to her unit, the Panzer unit, which basically is the people who ride on top of her when she's basically in the Car Titan mode. when she's the card Titan, and she has to basically free them. And then of course the Jaw Titan transforms into himself. Basically, this transformation like off screen. And on the way there, then they hear some whooshing in the air. What is this whooshing? The Survey Corps has arrived! I'm like, it's about freaking time. It only took 6 episodes, basically, for this to happen. Oh yeah, it took 6 episodes into this season for this to happen. In the manga, this took 11 chapters for these people to show up. Yes. And we see Connie, Jean, and Mikasa. Mikasa, you actually see her a little bit earlier than you actually see in the actual manga. Like, you actually see her face a little bit earlier, which I think that was great. I love what Mappa did with the scene. It is so fantastic. It's such a beautiful scene. And basically them swooshing around. This is probably the first time they've done this. Even though this is the first season they've done, probably the only season because it's the last season's show, where like the animation for them basically use the 3D maneuver gear is quite interesting. Also, I almost forgot this happened. Here's the thing. The time skip Survey Corps basically is now dressed in all black, and their 3D maneuver gear is no longer on their waist. Nope, it's on their back now. Yep. And also, they don't really carry swords very much anymore. Nope, they got rid of that. It's probably an update. Where they carry like little pistols, which still kind of controls their movement. And it looks like they still use gas to use the maneuver around. Yep. And of course they have armor on now, especially with the symbol of the Survey Corps on their chest. Like everybody's got it. And Mikasa's got a haircut. Yes, her hair is shorter post time skip. Which if you read the manga, this is definitely true. And she says the line, she says, Eren, come home. Which, by the way, that line was said at the end of chapter 101. Which, in the episode, that's halfway through the episode before they give explanation about the Warhammer Titan. And then we have Eren basically, like, noticing something strange about the Warhammer Titan. Like, it forms from the feet up, which is quite strange. And then he basically says something, hey, Mikasa, can you distract it while I figure out a way to try to eat it? And she's like, okay. She apparently has got no problem with it. Yeah, him eating another person. Despite the fact she already see him eat someone already. A human who's not even a fucking Titan. Yeah, Eren actually ate his first human because the thing is, prior to this, he never would do this. At all pre-time skip. But apparently now it was okay for him to do this. Like, kill civilians and even fucking children. Which, in the image, in the manga, it's like this. You see like one image of this. In the anime, they actually a lot more damage, which, yes, that was necessary to do. But look if it's brief. Where Mikasa's upset with the fact. Now here's the thing. I'm not making this up. Excuse me. It has been very implied throughout the entire series that Mikasa is in love with Eren. It has been this way for a long time. And it's been implied at one point she was trying to confess her feelings, but the Smile Titan showed up, and Eren, of course, killed the Smile Titan as revenge for killing his mother. But if you're kind of asking, Nick, does she still have feelings for Eren? As far as I can tell, she does, but she doesn't state it at all. I mean, there was been a rumor swirling around that possibly she and Eren had a child during a time skip. Because the thing is, the relationship between Eren and Mikasa is not deeply explored very much for the stuff they show prior to Eren showing up in Marley. Because they have them meeting other people, but as in the case of basically what they were up to during the time skip, it's not thoroughly explored very much at all. No. I mean, it's explored a little bit, basically, of like some stuff that happened halfway through the time skip, but a full explanation of what happened during the 4 years that before they got the current look. Yeah, that's not been explored yet. I would love to see that in some sort of fashion. Maybe the actual manga creator can do that for a bonus chapter, explain like, okay, how in the world that the Survey Corps got their current looks? That's all I can wonder too. So, we did see Jean, Connie. Sasha makes an appearance basically right after Gabby sees her. Yes, Gabby sees her. because Gabby's been mentioned to be like Marley's version of Sasha, except that she is not showing any potatoes. And of course, Sasha's with Connie. It's been implied Connie had a thing for Sasha, but I'm not going to say what happens to Sasha just yet. Unless you read the manga, you know what happens to her toward the end of this arc, but I'm not going to spoil it for people who just watched the anime. So, like playing charges, like all over the place. And then we see that the Jaw Titan, when he gets attacked, is like, oh crap, it's the Ackerman. Yeah, it's freaking Levi. How would we know it's him? Because he's the only one wearing green. Yeah, for some reason he still has his green cloak, his captain cloak. That he apparently still has it. I would have thought. Now here's the thing: everybody else doesn't wear their cloaks anymore, but he still does. Probably because it's sentimental to him. I don't know. It's possible. And of course, Mikasa still has the red scarf, which currently in the manga she's not wearing anymore because of what Aaron's up to currently in the final arc of the series. Which I have heard that, and this is according to what I've heard, that it's officially announced that the manga's final chapter release in April. So we have technically 3 more chapters left, and then that's it. So it looks like that this manga officially end, though they haven't stated yet, at chapter 139. Which, this is something I've always thought was quite strange about manga. They always end at strange numbers. Yes. Now you're probably thinking, why the heck would manga do this for? They do this all the time. They always end at strange numbers. Like, if you want to think of a really strange number to end at, I don't know, how about, let's say, Bleach, ending at chapter 686, which to me sounds like a very strange number to end at, but it did. Same thing with, let's say, Zombie Powder, and after 28 chapters. I mean, ending at basically a double digit number is fine, but ending at a strange number like 86 is really, really weird. Yeah, especially as they could stretch out maybe like one more chapter they wanted to, but nope, we end it right here. Probably the most oddest one I've seen, even though I've never read the manga or watched the anime, it's Fist of the North Star, when that series ended after 249 chapters. I'm like, really? You couldn't spring for a 300 chapter? Okay, fine. At least in the case of One Piece, they took basically promoting the fact that the series when it had its 1,000 chapter release, they took it seriously. Though the chapter itself was still the same length, but it basically did reveal some basically serious with that chapter, which I did love the chapter. And but I'm getting off topic here. So then Eren basically goes to attack his Attack Titan mode, and he digs up basically where the Warhammer Titan is, basically the actual body. He's about that's when the Jaw Titan shows up, and then Levi attacks him, and then we have he sees that the Island Devils, aka the Samurai Corps, show up basically to attack him. And of course the general basically is being attacked by some of the other soldiers of the Samurai Corps. Yeah, they're attacking him as well. Yep. This is an overall... there's also really a small scene of Falco's brother basically transporting Udo, who basically say, oh yeah, this kid is dead. I'm like, really? You don't... this doctor must be a complete idiot. Like, okay, you don't bother to examine him. You just look at him. You can't basically just do a proper examination. I get the fact basically you're stacked up. You can at least take a good look at this kid. Instead of just, oh, he's dead. And if you're curious still, did they say anything in the manga? Yes, they did. And then Falco's brother's like, I'm going to fight. Gabby, stay here. And Gabby's like, no, I'm fighting too. Yep. But this is an absolute great episode, and I can't wait for next week. This season overall is really, really good. Now we're getting to the exciting stuff. Yep. Oh, if you're curious, like, how many chapters left to adapt? Because they're like almost over chapter 102. There's like 4 chapters left. Yeah, there are 4 chapters left. I wouldn't be surprised though if from what I can tell for next week's episode, they are, from looks of the preview, look like they're gonna finish up adapting 102. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got to 104 for next week. Yeah. Excuse me. Yep. One thing I'm curious about is Here's the thing: when they start the first chapter of the next arc, the final arc of the series, chapter 107, this chapter is over 100 pages. I'm like, how they gonna adapt 100 pages into an anime? It's roughly the length of a graphic novel. Yeah, I'm curious, like, how in the world they can adapt chapter 107? That's a really good question. I wouldn't be surprised if this one chapter took up 2 episodes or even freaking 3. Though there is a rumor that the reason why that, even though, yes, the season will last for 16 episodes, but wait. By the time I finish it, like, wait, there's still more manga left. There's a rumor swirling around that we might get a movie for Attack on Titan to conclude the series, and the rumor is that Wit Studio might take over to do the movie from MAPPA, because MAPPA is doing season 4, because Wit Studio is overwhelmed, or the fact that there's too busy to do season 4. But another thing I've heard is that the current episode count, which is 16, which by the way, as of this episode, is like 10 episodes left. This is what they said to do. This is what the studio said, that we're going to do this, and didn't matter about the fact that the studio changed. This is the amount of episodes they wanted to do. I'm like, really? You have a live manga to adapt, and you're going to describe trees squeak. A lot of people are really hoping this season does not rush the chapters. If I were MAPPA, because I'm sure that this season is getting a lot of positive reviews, though I have heard also, and this is really dumb, apparently the director is getting a lot of harassment online. I'm like, really? Why the heck would you harass the director for? That makes no... apparently, he is basically getting a lot... He's basically getting depressed. The guy who's directing the season is basically getting a lot of flack. Is getting basically harassed. Those of you who are harassing him, stop harassing him. Let him do his frickin' job and stop harassing him online. It's so frickin' stupid. Like... I'm so sick and tired of hearing about this online bullying. It's old. Cyberbullying is stupid, and it needs to stop. At some point, we need to stop cyberbullying. I myself have never been a victim of cyberbullying, but even I basically would never, ever attack somebody online just because we didn't like something for any form of media. Basically, form of harassment or death threats is really stupid and is so outdated. Just because you like something does not mean you need to attack the people behind it. It's freaking stupid. Knock it off. Okay? That's my piece on it. And if anybody else has anything else about it, about online bullying, go ahead. Talk about basically how the fact that it's stupid and so outdated. So basically, we moved on from bullying from physically in person to bullying people online. The whole bullying concept is so outdated, and it just needs to stop. Okay? I personally have not been a victim of this, though I know a friend of mine who has been trolled constantly, and anytime the fact he tries to start a YouTube channel, he gets trolled by the same 2 guys. Who he calls basically two gay guys who tend to harass him. He, of course, currently doesn't have a YouTube channel anymore because of all that nonsense. Though currently he's basically a runner right now, so he doesn't have time to YouTube anymore. But I basically still have plenty of time to YouTube because this is what I like to do. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for Sigla Review. I might get time to do a comment corner. It's a maybe on that part, but otherwise though, probably see you all tomorrow for my review for Black Clover. If you're going to ask me, like, hey, when am I going to do the next video for Episode Duo? When I finish up reading, basically, Episode Duo Volume 2 and watch the episodes 4 that adapt that particular volume. Okay, I probably won't get to the volume today. No, I probably won't get to it for at least for a couple more days. Yeah, because I'm only, like, almost 200 pages into the Rise of the Hero Book 11. And then, of course, we went on to one of the physical books that are here next to me. And then work on that book. It could not be until this weekend by the time I get to it. It's possible. Yep. But, until this next video. Bye.